back, and we are looking to continue this crazy trial that I thought the unofficial one was going to end, and we were going to go on to the Clay Tarrant murder, but we're
I'm a
not.
little confused because I hope that Clay is not the murderer or something like that, like you let go.
Oh, you mean Solomon Starbuck?
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. And like, cause like I was kind of gunning for Aura, but maybe she's not. But then I'm starting to think about, well, where is Athena's dad? You know,
Yeah.
no one's ever talked about the dad.
So, very curious what Apollo found. Mr. Justice, please explain yourself. It's very simple, there isn't much to explain. The defendant, Miss Athena Sykes, might not be innocent. What? What are you talking about? The case from 7 years ago has been settled. I'm not talking about the past here, I'm talking about the present case. It's still not clear who killed Clay Tarrant. But Apollo, why would you? Miss Sykes, please listen quietly to what I have to say. What in the world is Apollo trying to do? Your Honor, please allow me a little of the court's time. But this is a trial for the case from 7 years ago. Miss Blackwell, I'd like to ask a favor of you. Just as you lost someone close to you, I lost someone close to me too. I'm sure you want to know the real truth of what happened as much as I do. Apollo, hee hee. Sure, you know I'm all for the truth. Now let's see you expose the princess's guilt. Judge, I give my permission. Continue with the trial. Very well, is that alright with you, Prosecutor Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections. Let's hear Mr. Justice's testimony. I'll have the police's investigation report brought immediately. Not you too, Edgeworth. I really hope it's because you have something up your sleeve. Very well, your opening statement please, Prosecutor Edgeworth. As you wish, let's review the case of the murder of Mr. Clay Tarrant. It was made clear in the previous trial that Solomon Starbuck was not his killer. Therefore, the true culprit was someone else. On that day, this culprit waited for the astronauts in boarding lounge 1. When the two men made their escape out of the Space Museum, the killer attacked Mr. Tarrant with the same type of knife that was used 7 years ago. The murderer then escaped into the Space Museum. Next, director Yuri Cosmos switched the launch pads. After that, the culprit exited the Space Museum and escaped via boarding lounge 2. Therefore, this trial must make clear who Mr. Tarrant's true killer was. In other words, we must discover who it was that escaped through the Space Museum that day. Thank you, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Mr. Wright, is the defense ready? Yes, sir. I'd better rearrange my evidence. Oh look, we got this guy back. Oh, that's the name of courtroom number 4. Now then, Mr. Justice, your testimony, if you please. Man, you know, that one attorney who was like, outdated! Can you imagine if he went through all this?
No, he's like, what is this circus?
I suspected Miss Sykes of the murder of Clay Tarrant. My growing suspicions were confirmed when this incriminating evidence presented itself. In addition, she's the only one who could have utilized the launchpad switch to escape. That is why I wish to indict Miss Sykes on the charge of murder. Seems very out of character. Order in court. Mr. Justice, you realize you are charging your own co-worker with murder, don't you? Yes, Your Honor, because that is the conclusion my investigation has led me to. But Apollo, why? How could you suspect me too? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. I don't get it. Just what did you find out over the past few days to make you think this?
Hold it!
Woodford made you suspicious of Miss Sykes. It all started when Miss Sykes and I were investigating the crime scene. When she saw the weapon that killed Mr. Tarrant, my bracelet reacted. She said she'd never seen the knife before, but my bracelet told me otherwise. And then every time after that, my bracelet would react when she talked about the case. Poor old Paulo must have been beside himself during that investigation. I didn't know what to do or think. I couldn't even sleep. In that condition, I knew I wouldn't be any good in court. So I decided to wear an eye patch, so I wouldn't be able to perceive any of her tells. So that's why Apollo was acting so strangely. But the reason Miss Sykes unconsciously reacted to the knife that way is because she stabbed her mother's murderer with one identical to it 7 years ago.
Objection!
That knife was also the murder weapon that was used to kill Clay Tarrant. My bracelet could have also reacted to her because she knew she was his killer too. I guess he has a point. But my bracelet wasn't the only reason I became suspicious of her.
Hold it!
Because that has her prints. That's the lighter that was found in the Space Museum with her fingerprints on her, right? But even if it seems decisive, there must be other facts we don't know about it yet. If that's so, go ahead and prove it then. Look, honestly, I don't want to believe it's true either, but Miss Sykes was the only one who was in the Space Museum at the time of the murder. But Mr. Justice, Miss Sykes had no motive to kill Mr. Tarrant. 7 years ago, Miss Sykes lived at the Cosmos Space Center. It wouldn't be strange if she had some kind of connection to him. Besides, people sometimes kill for motives we can't even imagine. I know you've seen plenty of cases like that in your own career, Mr. Wright. I still can't believe this. How can you actually suspect Athena, Apollo?
Hold it!
Isn't it possible that somebody else used that same escape route? I'm afraid not, Mr. Wright. Why not? Recall there is a security camera in Boarding Lounge 1 aimed at the launch pad door. It's the camera that captured Mr. Tarrant and Mr. Starbuck. But there's also another security camera in Boarding Lounge 2. It recorded Mr. Tarrant's killer, or rather, Miss Sykes coming out of the Space Museum. A camera in Boarding Lounge 2? First I've heard of it, but it makes sense. Athena said she had snuck into the Space Museum the night before the incident, and was overcome and passed out until around noon the next day. It must have been when the camera captured her. And that's what made Apollo suspect her even more. But wait a minute. In that case, it most likely recorded the true culprit as well. That's a negative on that one too, Mr. Wright. In the footage taken after the incident, Miss Sykes is the only one who appears. What? Why? Order in the court? It can't be, but if it is, then it is incredibly incriminating. Wasn't it you who proved in the previous trial that the way the true culprit escaped was via the Space Museum after the pads had been switched? A fact you previously proved turned on its ear, leaving your client high and dry. I must say, this is vintage Phoenix Wright.
Hold it!
Believing in your client to the end is a basic principle of good defense. Shouldn't you extend the same principle to your own coworker? You're probably right. Maybe I'm not even fit to be a lawyer. However, I don't care. This case is special to me. Clay was my friend, and that's why I just have to know the truth. Apollo suspected his trusted coworker of killing his friend. To dispel his doubts, he investigated on his own, but that only led to more doubts. Apollo must have been really struggling with this. Well, Apollo may have doubts, but I'll say it again, Athena Sykes isn't the murderer. And I have only one thing to say. Evidence is everything in court. Well, Mr. Wright, think you have the concrete proof to knock down my arguments?
Yeah, I do. I don't know what they are, but I do.
Yeah, we are really Phoenix Wright. I'm sure. We'll just think of something. Your arguments have been very clear, Mr. Justice, and your facts, it looks like not even you can deny it. Miss Sykes was the only one who used the only possible escape route. Under these circumstances, there can be no other suspect but the defendant. Unless you think there was an alternative escape route? Is that what you think, Mr. Wright? Is that what you think, Mr. Wright?
Yeah,
Is that what you think, Phoenix? Was there an alternative escape route?
of course.
Of course. Yes, of course there must have been. Just don't ask me what. You're just bluffing again, aren't you? Me? Bluff? No way. He knows me too well. It's fine, Mr. Wright. Even a bluff would suit me just fine. As long as you can clear up this doubt inside me.
I don't want you to prove them now.
Wait, so is that what this is all about? You need to question her guilt. So that once the truth finally comes out, I can really fully trust her. So that you can really trust me. It seems your junior partner has just showed us what trials are truly all about. I believe you're right. We prosecutors painstakingly question every detail in pursuit of the defendant, while we lawyers believe in and defend our clients to the end. When both sides go all out against each other, that's when we discover the truth. Precisely, and when the battle is over, we will understand the true meaning of trust. That is exactly what trials are about, wouldn't you agree? Yes, I couldn't ignore the seed of doubt that was growing inside me, so I decided I need to face it head on. No matter what the truth is that's waiting ahead, I won't be afraid. That's so like Apollo, always uber earnest about things like this. Mr. Justice, I vow to dispel every last bit of doubt in your heart. Good. Because I want to believe in Miss Sykes. I'm really hoping there was an alternative escape route. You're really hoping there was an alternative escape route. Sorry, I don't know it's the word, because Kitty's in the way. But if I use the process of elimination, there really aren't that many possibilities. Director Cosmos was at the southern exit,
Kitty cat, come here.
leaving only the control room and the corridor to the Space Museum. Which door could the culprit have escaped through? Control room and corridor. Go on, Mr. Wright. Where do you think the culprit escaped to? So either Director Cosmos was at the southern exit, leaving only the control room and the corridor to the escape room. And where did we say she must have gone? Or did we even go that far?
Only one who used Miss Sykes was the only one who used the only.
What did we say the only possible one was?
Out of one was two, didn't we?
Because he was here. So we could only say that he went in the control room, right? Or were we saying they went back and doubled back into the corridor?
Take that!
Let's go for it. They really only could have escaped to the corridor to the Space Museum. All they had to do was use the unconscious Mr. Starbuck's prince to get through the door. It appears that all you're trying to establish is Miss Sykes' guilt. If the culprit used that route, the only exit would have been into Boarding Lounge 2. The logical conclusion of your argument is that the killer is none other than the defendant. I knew it. That's the only way it could be, huh? If the culprit escaped into the corridor that leads to the Space Museum, then I guess it's true the only exit would have been into Boarding Lounge 2. But Miss Sykes was the only person captured by the Boarding Lounge 2 security camera. I investigated the crime scene thoroughly. But the only place the culprit could have escaped to was the Space Museum corridor. There weren't any other secret corridors or anything. So that leaves us with no other conclusion to draw but that Athena Sykes was the culprit. What could the answer be? Was there really no other escape route? But hold on a second, what if?
They switched it again.
Where did these mysterious leaves we saw in the corridor come from? What if they're a clue to the culprit's real escape route? I think it is possible that the culprit escaped into the Space Museum, but then came out using a route other than into Boarding Lounge 2. Oh? Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum were switched after the bombing, meaning the space corridor was moving along the rail at the time, which is exactly what an alternative escape route opened up for our culprit. Are you kidding me? Judging by the intense look in your eyes, I take it you're serious. Very well then, Mr. Wright, do tell. Where could the culprit have gone from the museum corridor, besides Boarding Lounge 2? Outside?
Outside. So would it be in the... No, inside. Right there.
Take that!
We found something odd while investigating the museum corridor this afternoon. Namely, a few dead leaves on the floor. Considering where dead leaves come from, they point us to exactly where the culprit escaped to. Yes, I remember seeing some leaves myself. Ah, do you mean... Yep, while the Space Museum was in motion, just beyond the corridor safety door was an alternative place that the culprit could use to escape. In other words, the culprit's real escape route was... the area outside the Space Center. You're freaking insane!
Objection!
Do you know how impossible that would be? That corridor is level with the third floor. Even if the culprit tried to leap to the outside wall of the Space Center building, they would fall to their death.
Objection!
Ordinarily, yes. But after the bombing incident, the culprit could make use of a certain item. And what item was it exactly, Mr. Wright? Alright, this is what the culprit used to leap to the outside wall of the main
There's a
building.
ladder.
Take that!
An emergency ladder. There was an emergency ladder in the 4th floor robotics lab, and it was used that day after the explosions to help evacuate people. Miss Blackwell herself used that ladder to escape down the ground level. Recall that the launch pads were switched after the ladder was lowered. The corridor would have passed by the ladder while the pads were being switched. And that's when the culprit literally sprang into action. And leapt onto the ladder. What? Who would have imagined? Order? Well, an alternative escape route seems to have emerged, which means someone other than Miss Sykes could have been the culprit, right? Making things up on the fly in an attempt to sway the court again, are we, Mr. Wright? Your theory has so many holes it puts Swiss cheese to shame. Alright, then name one. I have here detailed information about the Space Center. According to this, the distance between the museum corridor and the main building during movement is a full 20 feet. 20 feet? You're pulling my leg, right? In addition, the corridor is 3 floors from the ground, or roughly 50 feet. What's more, the culprit would be leaping to a precarious place, an unstable ladder. Human beings feel fear in dangerous situations. It's a basic survival instinct. An ordinary person would certainly hesitate before jumping, or even freeze in fear and not jump at all. But the culprit had just murdered someone. They weren't in an ordinary state of mind.
And they have no feelings based on...
Yes, and they have no feelings, that's right. Why would they have taken that kind of risk? They could have waited for the switch to be completed and escaped to Boarding Lounge 2.
Objection!
Because there was a security camera in Boarding Lounge 2, the culprit knew they would be recorded if they left the Space Museum that way. In that case, the culprit could have hidden in the museum until things settled down, and then blended in with other people after the museum was open. That's a good point. But you claim that despite all this, the culprit took a 20-foot death-defying leap, and all in the brief moment the corridor and ladder passed by each other. That's also a good point. They would have needed a running start while the corridor was moving to make that jump. If their timing was off, or if they couldn't jump far enough, it would have been instant death. What kind of person would attempt something like that? Stop bringing up good points, Edgeworth. This true culprit of yours is nothing but a figment of your imagination. Why do you always... Ah, darn it. Why do you always have to point out every flaw? Mr. Edgeworth's right, that does sound pretty insane. The culprit would have to be someone who feels no fear like a stuntman. Yep. But everyone feels fear on some level, right? Wait a minute. Aha! I got it this time. I can prove that there is someone who could have used this alternate escape route. Oh, can you now? This proves the possibility.
Take that!
What's that, Mr. Wright? This is a certain person's very interesting psych profile. The subject doesn't experience feelings like normal people do. In other words, this person doesn't feel happiness, sadness, or fear. Doesn't feel fear? Right. You can't be serious. Without the constraint of fear, he could easily do what an ordinary person wouldn't dare. Just as you or I could do a broad jump on the ground without the slightest fear. This subject could make a 20-foot leap 50 feet up in the air. He could choose this extreme way of escaping without hesitation. So you're saying that to a person without fear, the alternative route would be quicker and eliminate the chance that they'd be spotted. That's definitely pretty extreme, Mr. Wright. But there was such a person there at the scene. Yes, the Phantom, that mysterious shadowy figure who keeps popping up. Oh dear! The Phantom again? Man, listen to this song. Jeez. I knew the Phantom was there behind the scenes of the Space Center bombing, but I wasn't sure if he was connected to the murder of Clay Terran as well. However, now it's all clear. The Phantom is the one who not only bombed the Space Center, but also killed Mr. Terran. And I'm sure bombed the courtroom, let's face it. What? Yeah. Yeah. Then was afraid of them and killed Detective Army. What is it, the judge, maybe? Nah, here's the thing. We've seen judges do weird... No. He's too innocent, honestly. What do I say? Mr. Wright, please continue. There were just too many similarities between this case and the one from 7 years ago. But why, you may ask? It can only be because both incidents were the work of the same Phantom. So then this Phantom is the one who killed Clay. But who is he? This Phantom has been haunting this case, pulling the strings in the background. Who could this unidentified international spy be? Right, this escape route must have been a part of the Phantom's plan from the start, as was tricking Director Cosmos into switching the launch pads. The bomb on the second floor was meant to make the elevators and stairs unusable. That's why he gave advance warning and planted the bombs where he did. Yes, I think you're right. But it doesn't explain this one last thing. So I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to, but it was such a pain. Why couldn't they have used the ladders in the other rooms? The robotics lab wasn't the only room with an emergency ladder, but he couldn't have made that leap unless he was certain which one it would be. So you mean the Phantom must be someone who knew that particular ladder was going to be used. That's right. Who could it be? Wait a minute. So I lured my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. Miss Blackwell lowered the ladder after being told to by the detective leading the... Ah! You've got to be kidding me. Did you figure it out, right? Do you know who the Phantom is? Yes, I do. Who is it? Who killed Clay?
Is it Army?
Fulbright. It's Fulbright.
That's terrible.
That cute little thing? After the explosions, a member of the staff crossed paths with a certain detective. I was on duty on the 4th floor. It was quite the madhouse, I tell you. As for the detective who was leading the evacuation from the 4th floor, he had a very specific objective in mind. So I lowered like my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. His objective was to secure his own escape route. We lowered an emergency ladder from a 4th floor window and escaped that way. Once everyone else got out safely, I made my way down too and headed to the shelter. This is a detective you all know. He's even the lead detective on the current case. He appears to be a very emotional man, but his psych profile says he is without emotion.
I'm actually very shocked.
Yeah, What are you saying? You mean the Phantom is Detective Bobby Fulbright? Exactly, we were all taken in by his fake persona. So here's the thing. Because he was going, oh, what to do, what should I do? In the back of my head, I'm like, nah. It came to my head for a brief second, but it was so stupid I didn't tell you. I did, but it was like a brief second. Like, I'm not saying I'm a genius for this. It was literally something that I thought was too dumb to even share with you. So, okay. Detective Fulbright's real identity is the Phantom. So he was being really helpful to see what you knew and to throw us off because he gave us evidence that implicated somebody else. Including, he's the one who gave us the lighter that had Sykes' fingerprints. Mr. Wright, how could this be? That's easy, Your Honor. Detective Fulbright was leading the 4th floor evacuation effort. Our first clue is that he made no attempt to put any other ladder put to use. The ladder in the robotics lab is the only one he ordered to be lowered. The second is that he directed everybody to the basement shelter via this ladder. Verily, it was all a part of his plan to create an escape route. After Detective Fulbright saw to it that the ladder was lowered from the robotics lab, he went to the lounge where he killed Clay Terran and escaped into the Space Museum. The museum started moving slowly, so he waited for the right time, got a running start. Just as the corridor was passing the ladder, he leaped onto it. I don't believe it. That addle-pated detective did all that? Was it really him? I mean, all this time I thought... Sorry, we didn't catch your name. My name? I'm Bobby Fulbright, the heroic detective who defends our good citizens from evil. The champion of justice who comes running whenever you're in need. My catchphrase, it's justice we trust. Then his concern for Simon was also all just one big act. I swore to reform Prosecutor Blackwell and make him a valued member of society again. So I can't just sit by and watch him give in to his emotions and tear the defendant apart. That monster killed Clay? He had me completely fooled. Come to think of it, he's the one who brought that blood-stained lighter to court, too. That scumbag even made me turn on Athena, damn it! How the hell did I fall for all that? For him to have wormed his way into the police department as well. Your Honor, the defense demands to question Detective Bobby Fulbright.
Wait, see, there's no time.
Oh my god, yeah.
There's no emotion. Not time at all.
Seriously, I'm very...
I'd be like, you got me.
But here's the thing. We're gonna find out why he bombed the courtroom, why he had the detective, the other detective killed, why he killed Clay. Like, the motive, I'm very curious about now.
He's an international spy, so he's probably not Bobby Fulbright. He's something else.
He's fully Bob wrong. I don't know. We need to hear from him right away. The court will take a short recess and then Detective Fulbright will take the stand. And we were gunning for Aura. For reasonable...
She's not a nice person.
She's not nice, but I think she's been like... She was nice. And then... Mr. Wright, if it wasn't for you, for everything you did, don't thank me yet. We still have an uphill battle to fight. You got it, boss. Oh. Apollo. Okay, yeah, we could. Okay, we are back. Well, this is awkward. Athena, can you do me a favor? What is it? He's gonna be like, punch me in the face. Could you punch me? I called it! I called it! What? Why should I do that? Because I should have believed in you. I let the seed of doubt inside me get the best of me. I'm really sorry that I didn't trust. Ouch! Don't be such a dope. I was really touched by what you did. Huh? Now what are you talking about? I want to believe in Athena, but what is faith without doubt? That's why I need to question her guilt, so that once the truth finally comes out, I can really fully trust her. You took the time and effort to genuinely think about who I am and what I'm made of. After all that, how could I punch a true friend like you, Apollo? You didn't have any trouble slapping him a second ago. Thanks, Athena. And thanks for waking me up to reality again. Guess I know now who to call if I ever get sleepy in court. It looks like you have some promising young people working under you. Edgeworth. Yeah, I think they're pretty great myself, and they're not afraid to keep me in line. Anyway, I have some very good news. Aura Blackwell has surrendered and the hostages have been set free. Trucy and all the others? Oh, thank goodness. Miss Blackwell said she had something she really needed to do, so I granted her special permission to do what she must.
I'm going to go kill Fulbright.
No, we need to question him. I wonder what it is. Oh, there she is. Miss Blackwell. I didn't come to apologize if that's what you're thinking. My actions would allow the truth of what happened 7 years ago to come to light. But I did come because I had something to say to all of you. Miss Aura, she'd better not be here to complain about something. Miss Blackwell, I want to apologize to you. The fact that you couldn't trust the court system is our fault. Ha 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 ha! Yes, it's true the courts are filled with incompetent idiots. Still, I suppose I couldn't let you handle the rest of this case for me. Oh, Miss Orr, does this mean you're starting to trust the system again? No, of course not. Be quiet, hunk of junk.
Stop.
Yeah, they're so cute. Because I wouldn't mind if you were the ones who took Menace's killer down. Leave it to us, we'll get him. So I guess that means she's starting to trust us, at least. Aura. Well, hopefully not. Simon, I'm so glad both you and the princess were cleared of all suspicion. It's all thanks to me and my robot. You better be grateful. I never imagined you would go that far, though you were always extreme. But I don't recall ever requesting your help. As closed as ever, I see. Well, now that you've been released, I guess it's my turn to go live in the Slammer. Go live in the Slammer. I just hope you're not the prosecutor for my trial. You'll probably give me the death penalty. You know me all too well. Wow, I guess love can take on a variety of expressions, including stunted in their cases, in their case. But I truly was about to be executed tomorrow. Though because of you, it looks like I won't be crossing the sticks just yet. You have my heartfelt thanks, Aura. I'm sorry I caused you so much anguish. Simon. Is she gonna start crying?
Yeah. I think she'd be a good one.
She would. She's gotta look to her.
She's got purple eyes, purple hair.
I'm so glad, Simon. So very glad to hear you say that. Aura. Alright, that's enough of that. Bailiff, take me to the detention center. What Miss Blackwell did was inexcusable, but it's clear she did it out of love for her brother. I still can't wrap my mind around Detective Fulbright being the Phantom.
Me neither.
I can't believe he killed Clay.
Me neither.
Right, and murdered my mentor, which brought great distress upon little Athena. Chief Prosecutor? Yes? I would ask a favor. Would you allow me to stand at the prosecutor's bench for this trial? I wish to,
Throwing knives at people?
I wish to claim the Phantom's head on by my own hand. That was my plan all along. After all, it's highly unconventional for a man of my position to stand in court. Sir, the formal paperwork has yet to be filed, but you are hereby conditionally released. Please take the prosecutor's bench in your official capacity. Well, here's the thing. He has to take the Phantom's head, but he's the prosecutor. He can't just be on my side. Like, he can help out somewhat, like... I guess so. And uncover the truth by your own hand. I'm much obliged. The day to part with these has come at last. Chief Prosecutor, could you? Oh, he's not going to break him himself. How long have I waited? Maybe it's the sense of freedom, but even the air seems fresher, the light brighter. And I will relish slashing that blackguard Fulbright to shreds without mercy.
Still into the knife business.
Yeah, and he's not even calling him Fulbright. I don't have to be able to read his heart to see how happy he is. I'm so glad, but I won't cry just yet. After all, we've still got a trial to finish. It's okay to cry, Athena, I promise. Prosecutor Blackwell, Mr. Wright, please avenge Clay's death for me. What are you talking about, Apollo? You're coming to the defense's bench with me. I am? Well, I can't expect Athena to assist me now, can I? She's the defendant. That leaves you, Apollo. But are you sure you want me? I took a leave of absence and everything. Well, our office is pretty short-handed, and you're all I've got. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Apollo, Athena, I can say it with all my heart now. I believe in your complete innocence, and now we're going to prove it to the world. Thank you, Apollo. I know you can do it. Gotta say, this case has become...
You won't be needing that eye patch anymore, right? Right, because I'm fine now.
Now this is the Apollo I know. Welcome back, Apollo. It's almost time for the trial to restart, though it looks like you have things well in hand. Yep, I should head back to the prosecutor's office. But why? I want to look into a few things, namely, the first people on the scene 7 years ago, the facial data registered by the robot, and Detective Fulbright's background. Sounds great, Edward, thanks. I expect to be repaid with a victory right. Now if you'll excuse me. Okay, you two all set to go? You bet I am. Let's do this. It's funny, this all feels like the end of the trial. But we still got...
It's just the beginning.
Yeah, we got the final battle. I want to actually see this through. Are you willing to?
Yeah.
Okay. The murder of Apollo's friend, the courtroom bombing incident. And the case that ushered in the dark age of the law 7 years ago. Destiny has called us to bring the one responsible for it all to justice today. I tell you, this case really escalated as far as my interest in it, because, like, that was... I kept thinking... First, I thought we were going to investigate some more, and maybe find a person we didn't know about, or more about a person we already knew. And I guess we're going to find that out, but...
Yeah, there's a lot of remains here.
Yeah.
You want to know if, like, Candace, Army, Yuri, and Titan actually knew who it was, or if they just knew who was the Phantom.
Right.
but didn't know who he was, which thought that this was even more scarier. Like they know it was somebody close, but they have no idea who. And my idea is when Stormy figured it out.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's why she was killed. The thing is like, I still crack up when I think of, oh, Fulbright, you checked that, right? And then he just comes back and all he does is just wag his little fingers together. I'm like, ah, that little guy. Well, hopefully that means Emma comes back next game. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has never been more ready. You know, this is the first time we've been at the defense bench together since I debuted. Now that you mention it, although back then I thought you were more loud than you were reliable. You've really come a long way since then, Apollo. You've grown a lot. Well, there have been some hiccups, but I guess I've done pretty well. You've still got that ego of yours, though. Prosecutor Blackwell, with a 7-year mistake now resolved, you can finally take your rightful place. Yes, I guess we can keep that chit-chat for later. Bailiff, please bring in the witness immediately. Even with those handcuffs off, Prosecutor Blackwell seems to be pretty much the same. 7 years of grumpiness doesn't go away so easily, I guess. Is he gonna come in all smart? Yep. Yep, he is.
Bastard.
Ha 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 ha, Bobby Fulbright here. I heard I was needed on the stand, so here I am.
You don't know me now?
Detective Fulbright, do you know why you have been called to give testimony? Yep, because there was only one reason. In justice we trust. Oh, in the song.
Remember I said when I first saw him? I said he reminds me of Dexter. And it's weird because I said that because Dexter lived a double life in the police department and as a serial killer on the side. But I don't know why I got that vibe from him. But I didn't suspect anything at all. Like
Now I want to go back to that stream and hear that again.
I didn't suspect anything.
You can't fool us with that act anymore. Your justice is nothing but lies. What? Are you questioning the integrity of my sense of justice? I mean, sure, sometimes I make mistakes, but hey. Exactly the same as always. Tell me about it. You must be feeling awfully confident. Fulbright, if you wish to dispel our suspicions, then let's get to your testimony. Alright, fine. You want me to prove my righteousness? I can certainly do that. Oh, I didn't want it to be bad.
Maybe you're wrong.
Ha 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 ha, I am the very embodiment of justice itself. I won't have you make me into a villain with your far-fetched arguments. And this bit about the escape route is only a theory. You don't have any proof. But what we do have is proof that Athena Sykes is the culprit. This lighter with her prints on it.
Yeah, you gave it to us, so
Yeah. So you're saying the suspicions against you are completely false, and that the defendant is the real culprit. That's right, Mr. Lawyer's escape route is totally circumstantial. He doesn't have any proof that I made a big leap onto the ladder. We don't have proof, you are correct about that. However, you don't have any proof of your claim either. Yeah, I guess you're right. But you can't define justice with evidence. Who can define it anyway? Justice just is.
Objection!
Don't make me break out a dictionary on you. Please don't throw the book at me. Please tell me the Phantom didn't just make me set up a stupid pun for him. Let's just try not to lose focus, alright? But my justice is crystal clear. What's not clear are your eyes. Wake up and smell justice.
he's got free hands and knives.
Enough of your rubbish, Fulbright. If you have even an ounce of justice, then you will answer the court's questions and prove it. Prosecutor Blackwell? Prosecutor Blackwell looks torn. Well, Fulbright was his partner after all. Prosecutor Blackwell is right. The truth will be revealed in the cross-examination. The suspicions against Detective Fulbright are, at this point, only suspicions. As is my duty, I will judge the claims against the detective as impartially as I can. Does anyone have any objections? That's fine, Your Honor. Ha 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 ha. Now ask away and don't hold back. Well, there don't appear to be any objections. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination. Yeah, this is fixing to get so awkward.
Hold it!
The embodiment of justice, those are just empty words. But they say if you keep saying something, it can eventually become the truth. Isn't that how people make their dreams come true too, by wishing over and over? Alright, let's just move on. I won't have you make me into a villain with your far-fetched arguments.
Hold it!
My arguments are hardly far-fetched. There's careful reasoning behind my theory. Yes, well, apparently there's reasoning behind even a tofu burger. But what we have against Miss Sykes there is not just reasoning, it's solid evidence. And it's called the lighter, with Miss Sykes' fingerprints on it in the victim's blood. Yes, that's true, but wait, Detective Fulbright was the one who brought the evidence to the trial. If you harbor any suspicions, I suggest you ask Fulbright right now, especially about that lighter. He's right, but what exactly should I ask about?
The position of the prints.
Please tell the court about the position of the prints on the lighter. They're around the same spot on either side, as they would be if she were holding it up. I suppose if it was used to light the room, it would be held that way. Could you please add that statement to your testimony?
Hold it!
Yes, Miss Blackwell did mention she saw a lit lighter being held up. Yet meaning the person Miss Blackwell saw was the owner of the fingerprints. It just strengthens the argument against Miss Sykes. This line of questioning is going to get me anywhere except conviction land. Well, let's do the number of prints. So, how many prints were found exactly? 3. The thumb, the index finger, and the middle finger of a right hand. Your Honor, that is an important statement. Can we please have it swapped into my testimony? You got it. Beat me to it. Ha ha ha, be it investigating or testifying, speed is the key.
Hold it!
So 3 prints from a right hand were found on the lighter. Are you certain of this? I'd stake my life on it. Mr. Wright, isn't it odd he's saying the prints are from Athena's right hand? Why would you say that? Well, think about it for a sec. Athena always wears that glove on her right hand, right? So there's no way she'd leave prints of those 3 fingers from her right hand. Hey, great point. Why didn't I catch that one? Detective Fulbright, I'm sure you heard our discussion just now about how Miss Sykes always wears a glove on her right hand. Well, I've only one thing to say to that. Do you have any evidence that she was wearing that glove at the time of the incident? I guess we don't. If you want to prove the defendant innocent, you'll have to ask better questions than that. Like I need a lecture from you, Smiles McGoo. Let's keep pressing. Let's proceed with your testimony, shall we? Certainly, certainly. The statement that was added, I'm not sure if it's relevant or not. Well, at least he seems willing to answer our questions. Let's keep asking about different things and see if we can uncover an inconsistency. Detective Fulbright is a tougher adversary than I thought. Okay, let's do these other 2 since we didn't do anything like this. And please tell us more about the circumstances surrounding the letter. Well, I'd much rather expound on the topic of justice, but oh, all right. Let's see, what should I ask about? Oh, let's do Aura. He talked to her, so let's ask about that first. Please tell the court what you remember about Miss Blackwell at the time. She appeared to be really angry that the bombing commotion was disrupting her work. She even threw a robot at me. Yikes, I hope it wasn't poor Klonko. This is very important information, isn't it? I'll just add this statement then. Why don't you let me decide that? Miss Blackwell was extremely crabby about having her work interrupted.
Hold it!
You mean the lighter that was found in the Space Museum, is that right? The one and only. After Miss Sykes murdered Mr. Terran, she escaped into the Space Museum. That's probably when she dropped the lighter. Then after the launch pads were switched, she ran out of the Space Museum, where her image was caught by the security camera. Without evidence, I should probably save this fight for another time.
Hold it!
I'm beginning to wonder, is Miss Blackwell ever not crabby? Well, they already took her down to the station, so it's a bit late to ask her now. Just my opinion, and maybe it's best we don't ask her about that ever. About the lab. Please tell us anything you remember about the lab. The lab, huh? Well, it was so messy there was hardly anywhere to step. I guess they were in the middle of building a giant robot? Yeah, that's pretty much how it looked when we visited this afternoon, too. Okay, I know the drill. You want me to swap this statement into my testimony, don't you? What? No, way ahead of you. I'll just swap it in.
Hold it!
You aren't fooling anyone. You chose the ladder in that very room on purpose to create your escape route. That's not true. It's just that when it comes to ladders, I'm very particular. I had a good feeling about that ladder. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Did I mess up somewhere along the way?
Hold it!
Want to do the lab again?
Hold it!
Well, let's see if we have proof that she was wearing the gloves at that time. And then we can look at the prince position again if we can't find anything. Do we have that? Yeah, but do we actually have it? Left hand. A knife in the right. The propeller lighter with the left hand.
Objection!
You say the prints were from a right hand, is that correct? That's right, very clear prints. But that just doesn't add up. Huh? What doesn't add up? According to Miss Blackwell, who saw the culprit herself, this person held the lighter in their left hand. Oh? And here's the dilemma before us. Why are the prints on the lighter from a right hand instead of a left? Oh. You're right, it doesn't make sense, does it? Your Honor, this lighter can hardly be called incriminating evidence. The witnesses' claims don't even hold water. Detective Fulbright, I hope you have a good explanation for this. I just can't understand it. They're definitely right-hand prints. Then why are they inconsistent with Miss Black's statement? I've got it. What have you got, Detective? The mirror! The witness must have seen a reflection of the culprit in the mirror. Go on. Miss Blackwell was looking in through the window of Boarding Lounge 1, wasn't she? I believe so. If you mean the little window in the back and to the right of the room. That's right, and across the room on the opposite wall, a large mirror. I do remember seeing it. Ah, so you're saying. Yes, the culprit Miss Blackwell saw must have been a reflection of that person in the mirror. I see. In that case, right and left would appear reversed, wouldn't they? Ha 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 ha! Now do you see? That's the logic of pure justice. But your argument is only conjecture. You don't have any proof that what Miss Blackwell saw was reflection. Right, Dono? You'd sooner nick yourself than him like that. Put some more muscle into it. Huh? Ha 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 ha, that's right. Besides, the lighter couldn't have been in the left hand. Why not? Miss Blackwell said she saw an Earth emblem on the lighter, didn't she? That emblem is only on one side of the lighter. You're right, there's no emblem on the other side. Exactly, as blank and smooth as the judge's fine scalp. If the culprit held the lighter in their left hand, they would have covered the emblem. Uh-oh. What's more, this is the kind of lighter you flick open with your thumb before lighting. So if the culprit held it in their left hand with the emblem out invisible, they wouldn't have been able to open it, let alone light it. If they had held it in their right hand, they could easily open it and light it. This all means that the culprit was definitely holding the lighter in the right hand. No! Come back, my beautiful contradiction! It appears you've planted a flower that bears no fruit. Ha 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 ha! See how it withers before my flower of justice? He's tough. He's managed to discredit almost everything I've proven up to this point. In justice, we trust. Now do you see? I'm not this phantom you've been talking about. I mean, are you sure there really is a spy? I bet they're just a figment of your imagination. Oh, it's so sad. So very sad. But I'm afraid Miss Sykes is the culprit.
Hold it!
Detective Fulbright, I believe you said that the emblem is only on one side of the lighter. Are you sure about that? Of course I'm sure. Why don't you take a look for yourself and see? Do you see an Earth emblem on both sides of the lighter? I knew it. You're lying, Detective. Pardon me? You mean... Yes, my bracelet reacted to his statement about the emblem. He's definitely hiding something big. And I think if we use my talent, we might be able to figure it out. Justice Dono, are you going to use that cheat of yours again? It's not cheating, Prosecutor Blackwell. Very well. Whether I like it or not, I suppose we should use whatever works right now. Go on, then. See, before he would have pecked us. We have Prosecutor Blackwell's reluctant blessing, apparently. Okay, Apollo. Here goes. Detective Fulbright, should you repeat that last statement one more time? What in the world are you up to? Alright, fine. I'll say it as many times as you like. Listen carefully. The Arab emblem... Someone's...
Little psychos. I don't know.
I wonder if something happens with his right hand when he says something. Well, this would be his right hand. I wonder if he's like that guy who sweats on his pits.
Oh, junior trick.
Yep.
Gotcha!
Detective Fulbright, you might not be aware of it yourself, but whenever you say the phrase the Earth emblem, your left thumb moves. In fact, it appears as though you're running it along the edge of your holster. Mr. Lawyer, I don't have the foggiest notion of what you're talking about. Be that as it may, I know it has something to do with the lighter. Let me examine it. But why? You're not making any sense. You can't just... be still and do as you're told, Fulbright. If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't mind them having a look-see, should you? What? Not you too, Prosecutor Blackwell. I'm not sure what this is all about, but if Prosecutor Blackwell insists, there must be something important. I will allow the defense to examine the lighter. Good, now maybe we'll learn something new. I hope so. Now let's check every inch of this thing. The black back is covered with blood. Say, do you notice anything funny about this blood stain? You're right, it suddenly breaks off unnaturally. I suppose the lighter was held with the right hand so that the emblem was visible. If so, the print should be around the emblem and on the lid where you opened. You're right, there's definitely something off here. It's hard to tell if the prints are from a right hand or a left just by looking. I don't think looking at each print with the naked eye will tell us anything new, but this lighter definitely hides a secret. I agree. Let's check it out carefully. So this is the Earth emblem. Back to Fulbright was talking about. See anything noteworthy? Huh? Hey, look at this! The emblem's actually some kind of button.
Oh, it's a gun?
Oh.
Or is it like a trigger pull?
Wow, it transformed into something. A handle, a trigger? Is this what I think it is? There's no question, it seems. What you have there is a gun. A what? A gun, so that's it.
Is that the guy who was bullet that we found?
I wonder. Your Honor, please recall this morning's trial when Detective Director Cosmos was on the stand. The bullet that hit the oxygen tank was extremely small, maybe a 10 caliber. This little compact gun probably takes bullets of that caliber. It looks like this is the gun that was fired at the scene. I'm flabbergasted. The lighter was a gun. So when Detective Fulbright would touch his holster, that's right, whenever he mentioned the Earth emblem, he must have subconsciously thought about the secret behind the lighter. In other words, he knew it was a gun from the very beginning. A lighter that transforms into a gun seems like a spy gadget to me. It's not the kind of thing any ordinary person could get their hands on. In fact, I'd say it's strictly in the domain of elite spies. Detective Fulbright, you will explain yourself.
Not just the
There's nothing for me to explain. I didn't know the lighter could transform. I mean, it was found in the Space Museum, and then I brought it straight in. I didn't even have time to check it out.
Objection!
Whenever you mentioned the Earth emblem, you touched your holster. You subconsciously did that because you knew it was a gun. Accuse me all you want, but where is your proof? Do you have any evidence that I knew the lighter was a gun? Not exactly. Newsprints are on it, Miss Sykes' prints. It proves that she's the culprit who fired the gun at the scene. Oh. It would appear that the detective is right. Are you guys really trying to prove your client innocent, or what? Although it pains me to do this, now that we are where we are, I have to make the following assertions coming from the prosecution side. The person who fired the gun at Director Cosmos in the lounge after the incident, and the person Miss Blackwell saw holding the lighter, and the person who murdered Mr. Terra, and the person who bombed the Space Center, are all the defendant Athena Sykes. The prints on the lighter are decisive proof. No! Ha ha ha, now do you see? A man on the side of justice couldn't possibly be the culprit. And I think this about sums up Miss Sykes' part in the whole affair. The evidence certainly does seem to point to the defendant's guilt. Do you have anything to say, Prosecutor Blackwell? Evidence is everything in court, therefore Fulbright's claims stand firm. But, calm down, Apollo. He's just saying that because he has to as the prosecutor. Mr. Lawyer, our job is to pursue criminals in the name of justice. You shouldn't cast suspicion on people based on something as dubious as a habit. In fact, you have a bad habit of showing up in court with an awful case of bedhead. Says the man who wears sunglasses at night. If it's proof you want, it's proof you'll get. I'll prove that this lighter is not Miss Sykes, but yours. Sounds like you've hit on something, Apollo. It's just, if the prints on the lighter are the basis for accusing Athena, I think we should reconsider the credibility of the evidence itself. You mean you think this lighter might be forged evidence? That's right, it could all be part of Fulbright's bigger plot. Did he do anything out of the ordinary while I was off on my own? I can definitely think of a few things. We assume he's been laying a big trap for us all along. There's got to be something off about this piece of evidence. What's wrong? How the prints were left on it. Right, because the way they come off, they thought there was something weird about it, where there was white. No, I guess I don't see anything strange about how they... Oh.
It's not whose prints, we just took his word for it that they were hers. We don't actually know.
That's true. The print data. But what about the data itself? Detective Fulbright, you were the one who provided us with the lighter and print data. Isn't that correct? Yes, what about it? You say Miss Sykes' prints match the print data. But I have to wonder, was the data you used official? Mr. Wright, are you suggesting that the evidence might have been fabricated? I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's re-examine the prints. Using the official sanctioned print data of the people involved in this case. What? You dare insult the epitome of justice and integrity? There's no need for such antics.
Silence!
Your Honor, I lend my voice to the defense's request. You must allow the test to be rerun. Very well then, bailiff. It appears the official data is here. And the results? It's just as the defense claims. This proves that the prints on the lighter do not belong to the defendant. Yeah. Yes. The fingerprints actually belong to the victim, Mr. Clay Tarrant. Those were Clay's fingerprints on the lighter. I see, come to think of it. Wasn't it you, Fulbright, who collected the victim's prints? I personally removed his glove during the investigation. We had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity after all. You took the deceased's fingerprints. You could have easily planted his prints on the lighter with his blood. After which, you wiped the blood off his hand. By your own admission, you were also the one who compiled the phone print data. All to put the blame on Miss Sykes. This ploy must have been to distract us from the Phantom who was behind everything. You were out to create the impression that the Phantom wasn't the true culprit. So does that mean Detective Fulbright really is the Phantom? Remember the killer's escape route. No ordinary person would have been fearless enough to attempt it. Nobody but the Phantom, the man with no emotions, could have done it. Detective Fulbright, you were the only one who could have used that escape route. Fulbright, are you really the Phantom? Oh boy. Answer me, or so help me, I will slash you to tiny slivers where you stand. Alright, I'll talk. I confess. I'm not the Phantom.
Silence!
It's all over. Now be a man and admit it already. But I'm not a spy. I'm an undercover investigator. I've actually been after the Phantom myself. An under-the-cover investigator? That sounds less than wholesome to me. A person who hides his identity and secretly investigates in order to uncover information. And that's what you really are, Fulbright? That's right, I was working to track down the Phantom, but sadly, even though I was supposed to catch the spy ended up catching me. He took my family hostage and forced me to cooperate with him.
Objection!
What? You're telling us this now? But if what you say is true, then, who was the mystery person Miss Blackwell and Mr. Starbuck saw? It was the Phantom, I tell you. All I did was help him by having that emergency ladder lowered for him.
Objection!
I don't believe you, then how do you explain the fabricated lighter? That was also one of the Phantom's demands. Being the detective in charge of the case, it was easy for me to fabricate evidence. Pinning the crime on Athena Sykes was just another one of the Phantom's orders. And you expect me to buy that? Fulbright, what was the Phantom's ultimate objective? I was told it was to sabotage the rocket launch. Someone who didn't want the launch to happen must have given him the order. Actually, I have to apologize to you too. The Phantom told me to get close to you. He ordered me to get back that psych file you have on him. So he sent a buzzard of his own to tail me this past year, did he? I haven't been a champion of justice. I've just been a pawn of evil. A pawn of the Phantom who stole the Moon Rock and killed Dr. Psych 7 years ago. Enough, Fulbright. Just tell us the Phantom's true identity. I don't know. He was very careful to hide it. He has top-secret information for all kinds of corporations and countries, so there's a number of organizations that want him dead. If people believed I was the Phantom, I could be killed on the spot. Why, I bet even now there are assassins lurking nearby. This case is about the Phantom, after all. With the ceiling blown off, I suppose you are vulnerable to a sniper shot in this courtroom. Just 2 seconds ago, Fulbright was treating Athena like a criminal. Does he really think he's going to lie his way out of it now? But on the surface, everything does seem to make sense. This could be bad, Mr. Wright, if we can't find a flaw in his logic. He's right. After we've come all this way, we can't let Fulbright wriggle free now. There, I finally told the truth. Now I hope you see how foolish it was to think I was the Phantom. You're an intelligent man, Prosecutor Blackwell. You believe me, right? I believe you. I don't think you're the Phantom. What? How can you say that, Prosecutor Blackwell? It's obvious.
Silence!
Evidence is everything, right, Dono? And you must admit there's no clear evidence that Fulbright is the Phantom.
I can prove he's the Phantom.
You can?
If he takes his gloves off, he'll have a scar from when Athena stabbed him.
Hey! That's a good one. Yes, as I recall, the only solid proof we've seen up to this point is the fact that Detective Fulbright fabricated evidence. But
Which is bad, by the way.
yeah. I've known Fulbright here for a year now, and all this time he's been quite intent on rehabilitating me. I don't believe his efforts were a lie. Prosecutor Blackwell. This fool truly thought he could reform a death row inmate like me. He went so out of his way in his efforts for me, he actually became quite a nuisance, really. Prosecutor Blackwell, you believe me. Please tell me Prosecutor Blackwell hasn't really been taken in by this big family. However, even if it was against your will, you still acted as the Phantom's accomplice. You will have to pay the price for that. Throw yourself at my mercy, and don't you ever betray me again. You got that. Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you. Such a bond of trust is a rare and beautiful thing. In any case, it looks like everything has been resolved. We can now hand down a not guilty verdict with confidence. Ha 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 ha! Very good. I'm very glad to hear it. It's all over. Everything's been cleared up, and Miss Sykes will be free as well. Mr. Wright, we can't let the trial end here. If we do, the Phantom, the man who killed Clay, will get away. I know, but... what do I do? I don't have any proof that Detective Fulbright is the Phantom. This is it? Is he going to get away just like that? Now, if you'll excuse me, my next investigation awaits. And with that, I'm off. The defense, no wait, not the defense. The defendant feels it's not time for a verdict yet and would like to see this trial continue. What? But I was just about to declare you innocent of all charges. It just doesn't feel right to be standing here. Hey, Apollo, think you could scooch over? What the heck? Athena, what are you doing? Hope we don't get held in contempt of court. I have some questions for you, Detective Fulbright. Are you relieved that you are no longer under suspicion of being the Phantom? Are you grateful to Prosecutor Blackwell for what he's done for you? Of course I am, and I'm truly grateful from the bottom of my heart. Athena, where are you going with these questions? I have yet to hear a single emotion behind any of Detective Fulbright's words, boss. The suspicion against him has been cleared up, and he's not feeling happy at all. What does that mean? We may not have evidence, but the heart doesn't lie. That's it. With your special ability, we might be able to stop him. Your Honor, the detective has been deeply traumatized by our accusations. Yes, well, even before all this, I thought he was a rather odd fellow. If he doesn't get counseling right away, who knows what might happen to him? Hee hee hee, hoo hoo hoo, ha ha ha. Prosecutor Blackwell, can you believe the nonsense the defense is spouting? Fulbright, I think you'd better have that counseling. Not you too. You've been making batty remarks ever since you were being accused of being the Phantom. Such as, you're an undercover investigator and your family has been taken hostage. I fear you might have finally lost it. But I thought you believed me!
Silence!
Ha ha ha, oh how you amuse me so. What's going on here? That was an excellent bit of psychological manipulation just now, Simon. I knew you would catch on, Athena. Huh? Mind filling me in here? Guess we left you in the dust, huh, Mr. Wright? Simon was only pretending to believe Detective Fulbright, because he knew I'd noticed if there was a lack of emotions like joy or relief in his response. So he gave me the chance to take a listen. And listen I did to the voice of Detective Fulbright's heart. What? You two were working together just now? Come now, Athena. Show us what's inside Fulbright's heart. You got it, time to check the instant replay. Widget, mon ami, let's do this. So basically we needed the bracelet, Widget. We'll just need some Magatamas later in the trial. Thank you for believing me, Prosecutor Blackwell. I'm an undercover investigator, but the Phantom was coercing me. He stole the moon rock and killed Dr. Sykes 7 years ago. I'm a bad person for...
He's crying.
Yeah, but he's not sad. Oh my.
Missing emotion.
Yeah, I think I could choose anything. Even with all his over-the-top expressions and gestures, he's registering no emotion at all. It's just like I thought, and right in line with the Phantom's psych profile. Detective Fulbright, this lack of emotion proves you're the Phantom.
Uh-oh.
Hey, what's going on? Wait, hold it. What do you think you're doing, Detective? Me? I'm not doing anything. He's trying to hack into the Mood Matrix program. I can't do anything with it like this. Yeah! Fancy device you have there, but I'll tolerate no cheating, thank you. Ha ha ha, sorry about that. As an undercover agent, I tend to use my secret arsenal without even thinking. More like as a spy. Thanks, Prosecutor Blackwell. There, now that you can't hack me anymore, I dare you to try to hide your lack of emotions from us. Haha, lack of emotion. What are you talking about? Of course I have feelings. As a matter of fact, you've wounded me very deeply with that accusation. What's going on? All of a sudden I'm getting an overwhelmingly happy reading. Huh? But he's literally crying us a river over there. Oops, my mistake. How about this? Arr. Yikes, now he's angry all of a sudden? What's he trying to pull? Like as not, it would appear our friend is not completely without emotion. It's just as it says in Dr. Sykes' profile of the Phantom. The subject has a unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation. Oh, I get it. So he has some emotions, right? Precisely, which leads me to wonder why you can't sense any emotions from him at all. I believe it's most likely because he is controlling his emotions. Very good, Prosecutor Blackwell, you are correct. It's the result of my daily training. A very important skill for us undercover investigators, you know. Or like for a spy, seriously. But I wonder why he suddenly showed several strong emotions. Wait a minute, I think I do. I sense there's a feeling you're trying to hide with your exaggerated emotions, Detective. Haha, a feeling I'm trying to hide, that's a good one. You're the ones who have been saying I'm the Phantom because I don't have any emotions. I was just trying to show you the range of deep emotions I truly possess. And you have no objections to me analyzing you, right? No, analyze away. But I will state it again, I am not the Phantom. Be forewarned that your analysis will have no effect, because you're about to see what an undercover agent can really do. Me the Phantom? No way! Oh, I'm so sad. See, I told you. How dare you accuse me of being someone who would kill over a moon rock? I do regret cooperating with the Phantom, of course. But I'm so glad this whole misunderstanding is cleared up now. What the? How are we supposed to pick out what's unnatural from this mess? I don't know what we can do with all this either. This must be his defenses against your ability. So you think this is what he meant by what he's really capable of. I'd hate to know what's going on inside that guy's head. Well, we know he's hiding something, and that he feels threatened by Athena. Being only human, his true feelings and emotion he can't completely conceal must be hidden somewhere in his testimony. So his true feelings, an emotion he can't completely conceal. Yes, because happiness doesn't show up. Well, okay, no, it just did. I guess we'll just go for it. Maybe this? I don't think so. No, I thought I picked anger. There has to be something here, I just know it. This might be a long shot, but if there really is a real emotion mixed in here somewhere, then it's possible that it would be the one emotion that doesn't disappear. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but okay, so... Here, all the emotions play. Yeah. Oh, Huh.
Is it sad? He's not capable of feeling.
Capable of feeling sad, as you say. The thing is, I didn't see any disappear, like, even, like, just continuous. Let's see. Let's see here if any of them... So, in this one, each of them looks to disappear at least once. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Okay, so all of them disappear at least once there. All of them disappear at least once there. Sadness isn't disappearing here.
Got it!
I found it. I found the one emotion you're truly feeling. What? Hidden in the middle of that chaotic storm, I saw one emotion that never disappeared. When you talked about the moon rock, you felt a fear that wouldn't fade. Fear, huh? A fear that a man with hardly any emotions feels, huh? And it was a response to that moon rock. Detective Fulbright, I presume you feel fear concerning the moon rock because...
Your identity will reveal? Or did you fail to steal it?
Because it's gone, but... Of course, that's it. Enough, Fulbright, just tell us the Phantom's true identity. I don't know, he was very careful to hide it. He has top-secret information for all kinds of corporations and countries. So there's a number of organizations that want him dead. If people believed I was the Phantom, I could be killed on the spot. Detective Fulbright, I think I know why you would feel afraid. You are afraid that the moon rock will somehow reveal your identity. If his identity were revealed, he would be killed immediately. That's certainly enough to make even the Phantom feel afraid. Me afraid? I don't know what you're talking about. So there really is something about the moon rock that would reveal his identity. Apparently so. Wait a minute, maybe the Phantom didn't so much steal the moon rock. More like he had to take it with him. Because there was something on it that would reveal his true identity.
Hold it!
Where do you think you're going? Me? I'm not going anywhere. It's just me, or was he going to use that weird watch thing to try to get away? How many more of these toys does he have, and where can I get myself some? Detective Fulbright, you will answer honestly to this court right now. Why do you feel fear in connection with the moon rock? In justice we trust, not emotions, Mr. Lawyer. Evidence is everything. I'm the Phantom because I'm afraid? Don't make me laugh. Ah,
What? Is that you?
that was something. What was that just? But all human beings have hearts and experience emotions. Sometimes analyzing a case from the psychological perspective is the best way to find the truth. It's all just a waste of time. All your efforts and analysis serve no purpose. And now, in this dark age of the law, nobody would believe your claim that it's effective. In an era when evidence is fabricated, do you truly expect feelings to be accepted as proof? And where exactly is your proof that I fear the moon rock anyway? Well, I admit I don't have any conventional proof, but I still say that examining a person's heart has its merits. Oh, really? Then why don't you listen carefully with those special ears of yours? Listen to the voices of the hearts of the people in the gallery. All I hear is distrust. As you can see, the people are on my side, because all they see is a strange little girl using a weird little machine. But it's not like I use analytical psychology to falsely accuse people. Uh-oh, it's got Athena doubting herself. Miss Sykes' analytical psychology has breathed a new life into the courtroom. It has freed the hearts of many witnesses and has been key to getting to the truth. Ha ha ha, what nonsense. Your Honor, the defense's claim is a false one. I don't feel any kind of fear when it comes to the moon rock. I see. Very well, I will give the opinion of this court. In a trial, I don't feel that a person's emotions are quite as compelling as actual evidence is. But, Your Honor, hee hee hee, hoo hoo hoo, ha ha ha. There, you see, nobody believes you in your trumped-up charges. However, I do believe Miss Sykes' analyses can contribute to making the truth clear. I have seen her do this firsthand several times already. Surely you jest. So does this mean you will accept my findings in this trial, Your Honor? Yes, I believe your claim, Miss Sykes. I think there is merit in examining why the witness feels fear in regard to the moon rock. That is the court's opinion on this matter. That's a win for me. No, a win for analytical psychology. Now, Mr. Phantom, you will tell this court the reason for your fear. Analytical psychology. My fears? Fine. I'll show you precisely why those abstract things can't be considered evidence. Hee hee hee, hoo hoo hoo, ha ha ha. I felt fear when I thought about the moon rock, because it reminded me of the Phantom. Yes, I'm very afraid of him because he took my family hostage. What reason would the Phantom have to be afraid of the moon rock? None at all. So the very fact that I'm afraid of the moon rock means I'm not him. In fact, I'm on the side of justice. And there you have it. Now do you see why I'm afraid of the moon rock?
No, I actually don't.
Sure, you sound convincing enough. But so do any two-bit con artist. It's all meaningless in the absence of evidence. The Phantom is like the mist, no flesh, no bones. My sword alone cannot cut it right, Dono. With your deductive reasoning and the body of evidence before us, let us send this miserable Phantom fellow to the other world together. You and I, Prosecutor Blackwell, we have a duty to bring the Phantom down and restore the people's faith in the courts. Indeed, by covering for Athena, I allowed the Phantom to escape. As a prosecutor, I gave birth to the people's mistrust with my murder conviction. I bear part of the responsibility as well for being suspected of forging evidence and losing my attorney's badge as a result. Although that was more Christoph Gavin. Two of us and the Phantom were there at the beginning of the Dark Age of the Law. Then it is also our burden to cut away the foul specter we created, is it not? It's a law that remains to the righteousness of the court and the faith of the people. Hee hee, hoo hoo, ha ha ha. Trust, understanding, ha! Fragile ideals of the masses who are controlled by emotion. Humans can't truly trust each other, which is exactly why the illusion of trust is so enticing.
Objection!
Once two people overcome their misgivings, that's where real trust is to be found. You're free to believe what you want, but Trust like that is stronger than you and your lies always.
Hold it!
It only reminded you of the Phantom? Don't make me laugh. You are the Phantom. Evidence is everything in a court of law, or did you forget? I was forced to testify over a silly thing like feelings. But those tactics won't work from here on out. We need real evidence. I hate to admit it, but he's right.
Hold it!
Your family, like who in your family specifically? Oh, I don't know, like maybe my lover, for example? For example? Maybe? We need a more concrete answer than that. Ha! Maybe my mother, my son, or my daughter. Maybe it was all of them. I'm so sad and worried, I miss them so much. Ha ha ha. Alright, he's obviously lying. Look how upset I am. Is it any wonder I followed the Phantom's orders? That was weird.
Hold it!
You can't think of a single reason that the Phantom might be afraid of the Rock. I thought the Phantom wasn't even supposed to have any feelings. How can someone like me, with my wealth of emotions, be expected to understand the guy? The Phantom, a person with very few emotions, would only be afraid of something really big, like his cover getting blown big. I'm willing to bet that the Rock, the Moon Rock, has something to do with his identity, but what? Maybe the Phantom's fingerprints are on the Rock. The fingerprints can be wiped off. Maybe he wanted the Rock so bad he literally drooled on it and left his DNA. We're dealing with a spy here at Theme, not a slaw. True, but maybe the DNA part isn't too far off. Huh? Maybe something unexpected happened to him during the incident 7 years ago. He got stabbed. I just know I have something that can show why the Phantom is afraid of the Moon Rock. I'll just continue with my testimony while you're pondering then, if you don't mind.
Picture him with a handle.
Well, this wouldn't be the exhibit. I know we have that.
Objection!
Because his blood might be on it. Detective Fulbright, I assume you know what that is. Of course, that's the knife the Phantom used to kill Clay Terran. That's right, and the exact same type of knife Miss Sykes used 7 years ago when she stabbed the Phantom's hand. Yes, that was discussed earlier, as I recall. Miss Sykes then stated that she remembers the culprit bleeding. It's my theory that the culprit's blood got on the Moon Rock. He was afraid that if the blood was analyzed, his true identity would be revealed. That explains why the Phantom had to remove the Moon Rock from the crime scene. You mean, if we ran the analysis now, we'd know who the Phantom is? Ha 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 ha, yes, I suppose so, but unfortunately the Moon Rock in question is missing. That may be so, but I'm certain I can explain what happened to it in great detail. You can? Of course not. You don't actually expect us to believe that, do you? Because you don't fool me. What this court needs is a bully free zone. Ah, the infamous sword of the beguiling bluff. Its edge is without compare. Come now, ready it with me and show us just how finely it cuts. Your Honor, this is an outrage. Oh, I mean, this is an outrage. Ah! Go on, right, Dono. Let's start with something that's been bothering me for a while. Now, the culprit supposedly removed the Moon Rock from the lab. But in this video of him, it's nowhere to be seen. Oh, you're right. But here's something to consider. What if the Phantom hid the Moon Rock somewhere at the scene of the crime? Good thinking, boss. Security was super tight at the Space Center back then. All that in spite of the Space Center having very strict security in those days. All personal effects were examined thoroughly coming or going. You couldn't even smuggle a withered old leaf through those checkpoints. Does this mean that the Moon Rock is still somewhere in the Space Center? In the name of justice, I proclaim that's impossible. And why's that? The Space Center was searched from top to bottom, and especially the lab. The moon rock was never found. Ah, how could I forget that? A sad but true fact. We still haven't a grasp on how it was done. But the Phantom made the moon rock vanish into the ether. There's no way it just disappeared. Logic and evidence tells us otherwise. The Phantom didn't have the moon rock on him when he left the lab. Yet a thorough police search didn't turn up anything, and it never turned up in the 7 years after that either. The Phantom made the rock disappear without physically removing it himself. But how? There must have been a way. Think, Phoenix, think. How did the moon rock vanish from the robotics lab? So can you or can you not show what happened to the moon rock, Mr. Wright? Yes, I can, Your Honor. What? Oops, sorry, I mean... What? In that case, let's have your answer, Mr. Wright. How did the Phantom make the moon rock disappear from the crime scene? Was it the trash chute, maybe? Or, let me see.
It was shot in his face, maybe?
I mean... But it was back.
And it went missing again.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I was going to say maybe the trash chute, but I feel like that'd be an obvious thing to search.
Trash chute or it went back to space?
Yeah. Since you mentioned space first, let's try space.
Take that!
That's the Hope capsule, right? The one that went with the Hat 1 rocket? He couldn't carry the rock out, but he couldn't leave it in the center to be found either. So there was only one safe place to stash it. The Hope capsule that was there in the lab that day. Yes, and the team must have loaded it onto the Hope space probe eventually. But if that's what happened, then the moon rock would have been launched up into space along with the rocket. Preposterous! It would mean that for these past 7 years, the moon rock was... Exactly, the Phantom got rid of the moon rock in the most cosmic way he knew how. It was out there in the depths of space, aboard the Hope space probe. What? Order in the court. I understand now. The Phantom's original scheme was to sabotage the Hat 1 anyway. The villain. He used his primary objective to conveniently kill two birds with one stone. That's right, he planned for the moon rock to be turned into cosmic dust out in space, thereby destroying the one piece of evidence that could reveal his true identity. But Mr. Starbuck and the others foiled the Phantom's plot. The Hope space probe sailed off safely on its mission and returned 7 years later, with the capsule in tow. Yeah! If we analyze the blood on the moon rock, it should make one thing crystal clear. That you were the Phantom all along, Detective Fulbright. So he killed Clay just so he could get the moon rock back. I believe so. His original assignment may have been just to sabotage the Hat too, but at the same time he also had to retrieve the evidence of his crime 7 years ago. That's why he went into the boarding lounge and attacked Clay as he made his escape out of the rocket from with the capsule. But in the end, it was all he could do just to escape himself, so he didn't get the capsule. Clay must have done everything he could to stop Fulbright. He probably hung onto that capsule for all he was worth until his very last breath. Hee hee hoo hoo ha ha. Oh, this is so funny, you make me laugh, you really do. Boy, he's totally out of whack now. It's game over for you, Detective Fulbright. Why don't you just admit it all now? There's nothing to admit. I'm Bobby Fulbright, undercover investigator, I tell you. I am not the Phantom. The blood on the rock is just another one of his schemes, a trap. Now I'm not sure what to think. I suppose if the Phantom's a spy worth his salt, a trap is not out of the question. But in that case, you could say anything as a trap. Hee hoo hoo ha ha. That's what makes a trap a trap. I've been framed into taking the blame for the Phantom. You're on, I believe further investigation is in order. Further investigation? More like plotting your escape? No more. I will bring you to justice myself if I must, here and now. I guess it's time to show you just what I'm really capable of. Oh? Die, Simon Blackwell. What? Hey, you guys aren't really... It looks like I made it just in time. Edgeworth? I have good news for you, Mr. Wright. I've uncovered some very crucial facts. Did you find something out of the Phantom's true find something out about the Phantom's true identity? You might say that. I started by looking into the first people on the scene 7 years ago. All three, an employee and 2 officers, were registered in the robot's recognition systems, but none of them looked the least bit like Detective Fulbright. That's not good. But there's more. I've yet to share my most important finding. Mr. Wright, Prosecutor Blackwell, you'd best brace yourselves. Uh-oh. The man you see there before you, Bobby Fulbright, is already long dead. What's that supposed to mean? An unidentified body that was found a year ago has now been proven to possess Bobby Fulbright's fingerprints. Then does this mean... Yes, that means there is an imposter pretending to be Bobby Fulbright. An imposter? Then this man... Who in the world is he? Enough of your trickery. If you will not reveal yourself to us, then I shall do it for you. What the? No! His face! Aw, look what you did to my mask. Mask? What's the meaning of this, witness? Okay, you got me. I guess I have to show you who I really am now. What?! Wait, but that's... Hey, Apollo. Yep, it's me, Solomon Starbuck. Mr. Starbuck, but that can't be right. You can't really be the Phantom, can you? Of course not. The real Starbuck was aboard the Hat 1, which is set to be destroyed. Oh, yes, this is just another mask. I mean, didn't I tell you? I'm an undercover investigator. I can change identities at will. I can be anyone at will. If I want. Not so fast. I have the Phantom Psych profile right here. We can compile a Psych profile on you and compare the results. It will prove that you're the Phantom. Okay, this is tripping me out.
Yeah.
It's time for me to show you the real meaning of the phrase, the end justifies the means. That voice, those words. I cannot accept such evidence here, Miss Sykes. Isn't he in jail?
Yeah.
Professor Means' mask. I'll take what I want by any means necessary, and I'll give you that evidence. Huh? Time to take out the trash. Permanently. How could you? Now do you see how powerful the end justifies the means can be? How pathetic, you can't even speak without wearing another man's face. Ah, but that's the life of an undercover agent for you. My real face has no meaning or value to me at all. Or perhaps it really is the case that you don't even know who you are anymore. What must you see when you look in a mirror, Mr. Phantom? Not an awful lot, I'd wager. Well, aren't you just the master of psychology, Blackwell? That's right, I don't know who I am. I am always living as someone else for my assignments. I don't remember what my face looks like, or even what my personality was like. My face, memories, personality, beliefs, emotions, and soul, I left them all behind. I have no self. I am no one. I am nothing but an endless abyss. What's with this guy? Is he even still human? And now we resume with your lesson, Professor Wright. Oh, uh-huh. I believe you made this argument earlier. If you were to analyze the blood on the moon rock, you could prove that I am the Phantom. I believe there was blood on the moon rock in that capsule. Now that we know you aren't even Bobby Fulbright, your claim of a phantom trap won't work anymore. Then why don't you bring this moon rock in? This decisive evidence from the Hope Capsule. I think I will do just that. Get ready, because the Hope Capsule is about to seal your... He said fudge? It was the courtroom bombing from the other day. The capsule was there in the courtroom as evidence and was blown to smithereens. It looks like you have finally caught on. Full marks for the defense for effort. But what a shame your hope was lost in that courtroom explosion. Ah, so that's the real reason this courtroom was blown up. It was all for the Phantom to destroy that one piece of evidence. I can't believe it. Have we really reached the dead end of our coming all this way? Has the only evidence we have on this guy really been destroyed? How dare you get this Stanley Phantom? Whoops. As I've said all along, I'm just a nameless undercover agent.
Objection!
And the defense will continue to assert that you are the Phantom. Furthermore, we have proof, or at least a prayer. I'm afraid that won't do, Mr. Wright. At least put some weight behind your swing, right, Donnell? I know, I'm trying. There's only one thing that can unmask this menace, the moon rock. But that was blown to bits in the courtroom bomb. Yet, is it really gone without a trace? What if some tiny parts, little fragments, still exist? Hey! Yeah, that's right. Yep. That strange black and yellow thing on the left side of this picture. Very well, Mr. Wright, let's see your proof.
Take that!
Nice memory. Take a look at this. What is that, may I ask? This is the last fragment of hope that I have. This is what will give us the strength to carry on. I see. Not exactly the reaction I was hoping for. Did I not pick that? Did I not pick it? Yeah. Did I pick this?
Take that!
Yes, I did.
I guess it's not making me.
Fragments are being analyzed. Well, that could be it. Look! 7K!
With the moon?
Yes! That's the moon rock!
Take that!
Isn't that the bomb that blew up the courtroom and the moon rock along with it? Are you saying this will reveal the Phantom's identity? Yes, Your Honor. Focus your attention on this photo taken after the bombing, specifically right here.
Take that!
Please take a look at this newspaper article. This article about the Hap 1. Now please note the strange black and yellow rock there on the left. That's the moon rock. And when we look at this photo of the bomb fragments, see how there is a little rock-like object with the same coloration. Oh my, yes, I see it. It would seem that the moon rock was much more durable than the Phantom thought. If we take a look at all the fragments that the police found, we'll likely find one with blood. And DNA testing on the blood will prove that the witness is indeed the Phantom. Unbelievable. But that's impossible. A surprise to be sure. That's one bloody tough rock. Let us have the fragments tested straight away. Oh, and you'll be having a DNA test too, Fulbright. Bailiff, contact the police department immediately and order a testing. Prosecutor Blackwell, what did the test results show? There was a rock fragment that had blood on it that appeared to be several years old. DNA testing revealed... Well, I'm sure you know full well what it revealed. They confirmed it was the witness's blood, didn't they? There's no use in trying to talk your way out of it anymore. Admit it, you're the Phantom. Wait, what? Huh? Mr. Wright, did you just raise an objection to yourself? No, I didn't say a word. That was my objection, Apollo. Huh? Oh god, is it gonna be a phoenix face?
Okay, she's just getting it.
This guy is just... It was a pretty good objection too, don't you think? Now he's me? So, do you have an objection or not, Mr. Wright? No, not really, Your Honor. No, not you, Mr. Wright. I mean the witness, Mr. Wright. Did this trial get any more insane? Mr. Wright, this fragment of rock in the photograph, that was just like... How can you be sure they're pieces of the same moon rock that was at the robotics lab? Care to explain what you mean? Well, there may have been a rock or two in the courtroom that had my blood on it. But how do you know they're not just rocks? You can't prove they're the moon rock, right? Don't be absurd. Just compare the fragment with the rock in the newspaper article. Anybody can see they're the same. They have the exact same coloration. But maybe some other rock with the same coloration happened to be in the courtroom. It's highly unlikely a rock with such a unique appearance just happened to be here. But you can't deny it's a possibility. But your blood was found on one of the fragments. Apollo, there's nothing suspicious about my blood being on a piece of rock. And why not? I know it sounds like an excuse, but several years ago I tripped and fell in this very courtroom and was hurt pretty badly. Maybe that's how my blood found its way on a piece of rubble. Even he must realize how ridiculous that sounds. And yet I suppose it's not completely out of the question? Ha ha ha, I see you're starting to sweat, Mr. Wright. I thought that the worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. You're the last person I want to hear that from. Well, then why don't we get those fragments analyzed? We could ask an expert to verify if they were from the moon rock in the robotics lab or not. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that just isn't going to be possible. And why not? In order to prove that the fragments are from what you say they are from, you need a sample of the moon rock from 7 years ago to compare it with.
This is the error.
But that moon rock doesn't exist anymore, and there's no sample data left either. And so you see, short of going back in time, there's no way to prove that any of the fragments are from that moon rock. Oh, no. There's really no way to prove it. Ha ha ha, are you finally ready to throw in the towel? So the moon rock doesn't exist anymore, huh? That's right, it was such a valuable rock too, a shame really, but it's lost to us forever. He's wrong, it's not completely lost. There's another piece of it right here by our side, a shining fragment of hope that can turn everything around. The final piece of evidence to put this phantom away for good. The defense has a piece of evidence that completely contradicts your claim. You have what now? A final fragment of hope that was passed down with great love and care. We do? We do, even if the person holding it hasn't realized it yet. Is this true, Mr. Wright? Pay no attention to him, Your Honor. He's just bluffing as usual. I wonder if you'll be able to force your biggest smile when you see what I've got. Try me. Just about the only things my mother left me with are a widget and this earring. Maybe she did love me in her own way. Athena, you may not know it, but your mother left with you a very important piece of evidence. She did? You're bluffing. You don't have anything of the kind. Oh, but we do. Evidence that will finally corner you, because we have a moon rock of our own. Yeah. Oh! You mean... Exactly. A gift Dr. Seiss left her daughter. An item Athena has cherished and worn all these years. As distant as Dr. Seiss may have seemed to her daughter, that fragment of her love will shake off the darkness of the past and give us all hope for the future. This is the defense's sample of the moon rock. That's your sample? This earring that Miss Sykes always wears was made from the original moon rock. What? All this time? It was right here all along? No. It can't be. If the composition of the bomb fragments in the earring are found to be a match, then it will prove beyond the shadow of a doubt the origin of the fragment in this photo. Since the test results show that the blood on the fragments was yours, this means that the identity you tried so hard to hide will finally be revealed. The identity I tried to hide, I don't have an identity to hide. I may not have Athena's ears, but now even I can hear the fear in your voice. Fear? I don't feel fear. I left all of my emotions behind years ago. Every human being feels fear. You simply can't face the emotions inside you. You can't face them because you have nothing. No love, no trust. I suppose you do. I didn't have anybody to support me at first either. I couldn't face the fear inside me, couldn't get over the trauma of my past. Like I said, I don't feel fear.
Objection!
Then you're just a coward of running away from yourself. When I had my doubts about Miss Sykes, I felt like I would collapse under the weight. But I wanted to trust her. And I knew I could trust Mr. Wright to uncover the truth. That's why I was able to face my suspicions without hesitation. Running away from myself. Ha 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 ha. How can I run from myself when there's nothing inside, nothing at all?
Objection!
I know it's hard for someone as unwilling to trust others as you to understand. People have emotions. It's just a fact of life. To trust one another, so they can gain the strength to face themselves when things are at their bleakest. How can you ever hope to face your fears? Inside it. Is this? Oh. Ah! I'm afraid. I'm scared. Ah, I feel fear. You can't outrun yourself. Remove that mask and unleash your emotions. Confront your guilt head on. With your own true face. My own true face. No, please don't. I know you're here. Where are you? See, I haven't revealed anything yet. Honest. My face, my face, my face! Dude, is this my face? Is it? No, that's not it. No. This isn't me either. Is this me? What is my face? What am I doing? Is this face just gonna explode?
Did he just shoot himself in the courtroom?
You know, somebody shot him.
Do we never get to see his face?
A sniper attack in this very courtroom. It chills me to my bones. I mean, I'd be kind of scared even if I figure the Phantom's the target. But the police are doing everything they can to track down the sniper as we speak. Prosecutor Blackwell, how is Detective Fulbright, his imposter, doing? He's a lucky fellow. The bullet didn't hit any vital organs. He appears to be in no danger of dying. Well, that was fortunate for all of us. The analysis of that final piece of evidence Wright Dona submitted us in. The composition of Miss Sykes' earring and the fragment with the blood on it match. We can now be certain that it is a fragment of the moon rock in question. The murders and bombings at the Space Center, both past and present, the bombing of courtroom number 4, and all of his other crimes, as numerous as the stars. Under suspicion of all these things, the spy known as the Phantom has been incarcerated. The prosecutor's office is now responsible for his well-being. There are still a myriad of things we wish him to tell us about after all. Thank you, Prosecutor Blackwell. Well, it's time to finally bring this trial to an end. Before I do, will the defendant please return to her proper place? Yes, Your Honor. Now then, this court finds the defendant Athena Sykes Oh, this is the first time he had a reaction. Court is adjourned. Congratulations, Mr. Nick. Thank you, Pearls, and thank you for being there for Athena. That's the least I could do. But Athena was great, wasn't she? She was so strong throughout the whole trial. Daddy, I'm so glad to see you. Trucy, are you alright? Are you hurt? I'm fine, Daddy. I was doing magic tricks for the other hostages to keep our spirits up. That's our Trucy for you. I'm really glad to see you're safe. Right, I fear I owe you yet another debt of gratitude. Edgeworth, we would never have caught him if it weren't for all of you. Oh, come on, Edgeworth, what are you talking about? You're the one who's been tracking the Phantom all this time. Plus, you were the one who gave Blackwell permission to serve as a prosecutor, right? Yes, well, we knew the Phantom was somewhere nearby. Police and I were trying to find him, but we never did manage to do so until this trial. Well, we never would have won this trial without you. It was your help as chief prosecutor that was the key to its successful conclusion. Besides, it was you that saw to it I got my attorney's badge back, wasn't it? So you figured it out, did you? Yeah, getting my license back went just a little too smoothly, you know? It should have been much harder after that evidence forging scandal. Well, I owed you a few favors. Hey, Edgeworth, think we can finally bring the Dark Age of the Law to an end? Even the darkest night turns to dawn eventually. Our sun will rise again. Besides, now that Prosecutor Blackwell has been cleared of all charges, a great deal of the mistrust towards the court system should have been swept away. You know, you could have said that with a bigger smile, Edgeworth. It won't kill you. Instead, the furrows in that brow of yours just keep getting deeper and deeper. So I should smile more, huh? I'll think about it. Ah, the complicated love-hate relationship between lifelong rivals. Athena. I'm forever in your debt. You went to all that trouble, even taking the bar exam while you were overseas. Well, I knew that if I didn't get your sentence overturned fast, you'd be executed. So I studied and studied. I was frantic. I'm so glad I made it in time. Just barely, but I still made it. That a girl, Athena. It's good to see you finally let your tears out. Yes, I survived by the skin of my teeth thanks to you. Shame on you, Simon, for trying to throw your life away like that. It was never my intention to just throw my life away, but some things in this world are more important than your own life. Like what? My honor-bound duty to protect with my life. My mentor's most beloved treasure. Huh? That's some loyalty. This guy really is a samurai through and through. Well, it looks like we can breathe easy now. Apollo, Athena, thank you both. It took all of us together to pull it off. You bet, boss. What a team we are, huh? It was definitely the most amazing turnabout I've ever seen. I'm a lucky guy. My office has the best and most capable lawyers around. Thanks, Mr. Wright. I'm going to work extra hard to make up for all the worry I caused. Apollo Justice is fine and ready to go. Let's hear it for the Right Anything Agency. Well, nobody's going to try harder than me, so you'd better watch out, Apollo. Simon is free thanks to Mr. Wright. But there are so many more people out there who need our help. You're right, and I'll be needing you both to help them. We still have a long way to go. Get ready, you two. We won a major victory, but the war is far from over. There are still people out there suffering under false charges who need defending. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. If we ever hope to fully bring the Dark Age of the Law to a close... Hey, I know one thing we have to do. We have to celebrate with a bowl of piping hot noodles. Huh? Nothing like a bowl of Eldune's noodles after a trial, all on Mr. Wright's tab. That's how it works at the Right Anything Agency, right, Mr. Wright? Huh? Huh? As the boss, it's your duty to express gratitude to your people for the great work. In that case, allow me to join in the festivities. I would greatly welcome a bowl of noodles. Huh?
You retired prison food.
Yeah. I have an idea, Daddy. Why don't you just invite everybody involved with the case? The more the merrier, right? Oh, Mr. Nick, look how far you've come. Who knew you'd grow up to be such a generous gentleman? He's going to say objection. It's going to go to credits. Guys, under these circumstances, there's only one thing I can say. Only if I get to join in. Hey, no fair. I want to say it, too. Okay, here we go. Oh.
Objection!
So I guess we're just to assume that I was trying to think of something nice I could do for Polly now that he's back. So I decided to go around and get a bunch of jobs for him to do. Find a lost cat, install an air conditioner, give a computer lesson, find a lost item. You think I should have found him a few legal cases. Now that's okay, this is the Right Anything agency after all. Athena and Apollo were so wonderful in court. I'd better study as much as I can if I want to be a judge someday. My grandma says eats lots of peppers and that'll ignite your passion. Oh, but I should figure out which to grow, green peppers or yellow peppers. Maybe I should go with hot as the sun red peppers instead. The end of the dark age of the law, you say? Tisk tisk, how naive. Don't you know it's sometimes necessary to get a guilty verdict by any means possible? What? They're putting me under investigation. Chief prosecutor wants to see me. Eek! I've been asked to debut the great masked wrestler Tenmataro. He's scheduled to go up against the Amazing Ninetales next, though. Oh, what to do, what to do? A fight to the finish with myself? Why don't you ask Mr. Demon Lawyer to be the Amazing Ninetales too? It's not a bad idea. I bet he'd be all for it. Caw, 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 caw. So we are to meet as foes, are we, my little friend? Oh yeah, he is the Demon Lawyer. Apollo. Would you believe it? I'm Alderman of Ninetales Vale now. Pretty impressive, eh? I took over after Rex QB for the good of my beloved village. What do you say? Would you like to make a little donation to help us out? Hey, you, what do you think you're doing sneaking into the manor? Ah, the jig's up! Better make a run for it! I thought I wanted to be an artist, but after seeing the amazing job Athena did, I started becoming genuinely interested in law, so now I'm studying for the bar exam. I'm going to prosecute Athena someday. Yells S-E-E. I'm studying my buns off too, but not for the bar exam. I'm going to pass the Themis entrance exam on my own merit this time. With a score of 100 points, of course. Hugh, Juniper, our dream will live on forever! I found really sweet boxes for all three of them, but they won't wear them. Is it because I wanted to be a legal journalist instead of a lawyer or a judge? But anyway, thanks to the trial, the school newspaper's future is as bright as can be. Now let's see what the fresh blood have to say in the new school paper. Our editor cried so hard at graduation rehearsal, her cardboard box got soggy. The one-night-only reunion concert. I still remember that evening of passion. The president of the student council sang like no high school student I've ever heard. When she's a judge in her own court someday, I'd love to have a jam session with her. It'd be the coolest trial ever, yeah? I can already hear it now. I gave this place a good cleaning from top to bottom, but it's already a mess again. I guess the only thing I can do now is clean up the attitudes of the people in this office. With Mystic Maya due to come here once her training is over, it simply must be done. Ha ha ha, humanity's dreams for outer space will never die. In fact, planning for the Hat 3 project has already officially begun. Look upon me, people of this great nation, and witness the glory of Yuri Cosmos. What do you... Oh, director! Yes, yes. Rocket preparations are fully complete? Yes. You just leave everything to me? Assistant Director Yuri Cosmos. I'm going to the moon in the new rocket. If Athena or Mommy Metas came to the moon, I would love to show them around. But which is more interesting? Montes Pior, main Tranquillitatis. You think they would like either one? Yay, hooray! I wonder how Miss Aura is doing. I'd rather be near Miss Aura than on the moon. Oh, Miss Aura, I just want you to use me again, just like you used to. Well, I guess if we see her, she'll be in the detention center. Ready for launch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off! I'm going to the moon for real this time, for me and for Clay. Thanks to my lawyers, I know now I should never give up. But I'm worried. You can't breathe in space, and in fact it's cold as heck. Oh man, now I'm getting really nervous. No, I am not employed here. I simply came to request their services in defense of my sister. But no one's around, and I've been kept waiting for a long time. And what sort of case brings you here? Oh, your father was accused, and you wish for Athena to defend him. Then perhaps he and I shall meet in a courtroom in the near future. I look forward to your next month's salary assessment. Please forgive me. Blackpool's acquittal has brought all manner of ills in the prosecutor's office to light. It would seem solving that case has thawed the chill of winter into the warmth of spring. Now I owe Wright yet another debt of gratitude. But I will repay him one day. You can trust in that. So, it's not explained completely, but I guess we're to assume that Army figured something out and had to go. I think that can be assumed. And that...
Well, she's trying to stop it, but you realize, like, hey, Fulbright or what, like, she realized it at that moment.
Right. And Ted and Abe was working under him, but was not like the head guy screwing all this up. That was a crazy case, man. Fulbright, he didn't even know what emotions to use. He was so bad at it. I was honestly shocked they went with Fulbright. There he is.
But it's not really the Fulbright. That persona, that innocent persona of like putting these things together, is the real one that died in the explosion. So, like, you think about it, the real Fulbright is who he thought he was.
Right. But it's just that the real Fulbright was already dead.
Yeah.
And that was it. You know what I realized, though? It seems like the last case in just about each game, it's somebody in law enforcement or court. It's Von Karma. It's Godot. It's Christoph Gavin. It's Fulbright. It's the Chief Gant. The exception would be Matt on Guard. But even the Great Ace Attorney. You know, you have the Judge and Mal Strongheart. So I wonder if the last killer in the next game is going to be the new prosecutor or something. Yeah. But I mean, like, the big bad was Matt on Guard. The thing is, I really didn't... They've never gone with the detective, as far as, like, you know, they never went with Gumshoe or Emma. And even though there was some stuff to know about Gregson, they didn't really go with him. So... that was a shock. Like, that gasp was legit shock that they actually went with Fulbright. And I guess it doesn't really matter what he looks like underneath, because he's just a spy and a murderer. And what he looks like for real, it's not going to be like, aha, that's what he looks like. It'll just be, oh, that's what he looks like. So that was Dual Destinies. So we did Apollo Justice, we did Dual Destinies. So the next one Oh, what?
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Yeah, she let her hair down.
Mr. Starbuck!
You'll be fine. Just believe in yourself.
The moon's closer than you think!
Thanks, guys. I wouldn't have made it back into space if it wasn't for you.
All right.
Through the years, I've seen as much joy as heartache, honesty as deceit. But just as Mr. Starbuck was able to escape the harsh pull of his fears and despair, I believe that hope and friendship can lift us all up towards a brighter tomorrow. Now it's done. Woo! What a case that was.
It looks different.
Unbelievable.
And look, a special bonus. What's that?
Yeah, I gotta see what that is. So let's... no, we're not gonna continue it yet, although that will be the next one. So, this is gonna be the next one. With 6 cases, and they said the special case at the end you can do after it's all done. I think she's the next prosecutor. I mean, I'm sure Payne is the first one, but... Actually, no. I think it's the white-haired one on 5. Japan? Well, remember, with Ace Attorney, you're basically both in the U.S. and Japan at the same time for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, remember that comic I showed you where, like, it looks like Seattle, but then they're eating, like, sushi, which is the main whatever, like...
See, it looks like it's like a country because it was like reading a book and people were dressed differently than the react in the street. So maybe they go to another country to prosecute. See how, like, Asia is like,
Yeah.
but not like Japan.
Look at the 4th case. Blackpool's there. And look, Maya's in 3. It's gonna be interesting. So what did we unlock exactly?
Spirit of justice.
Yeah, this is Spirit of Justice. I think that's the person.
Yes.
Oh,
See, she's got like a burqa on her.
yeah.
See, I think they go somewhere like maybe in the Middle East. But then her short skirt is very short.
I don't know. That, I think, is the prosecutor.
Is that a lady?
I think it's a lady. I'm not sure. But I'm very curious. Yeah, and that was a very foreign name. I mean, well, foreign to us. Sure, in Japan, where this was made.
Go back to her as a kid. I want to look at her. And what's her?
I'm sick. I am looking at what you want to look at, but I'm setting the music to it. Gosh. Shh. Oh, see what you made me do? Oh, just let me do the corner. God. Okay. Now you want me to go to Blackpool? Are we still on Athena Sykes?
Oh, this is who they thought. They thought about her this time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they had a lot of things going. Short hair, dark hair. That actually is, yeah. Holy smokes. It looks like here the hair is starting to come into focus. Wow, look at that bottom right one.
Look at a woman.
Interesting one. And I don't even know what they're doing here.
This is a teenage boy, man.
Poor Trucy, she didn't get as much time on this one. There we go.
Star's interesting too. Short hair. When he was being mentored and then he got old looking and thinking like this.
But we never saw him with that black hair on the bottom, did we?
Where?
On the bottom.
Yeah, he did. When she was mentoring him, when he first saved Athena, he had short hair like that. And it was all black. It's in prison that he turned like that.
Let's see.
So when we did the flashbacks, he looked like this, yeah. Whoa!
What the?
This is Joker. But then again, the black and white looks like the old prison uniform.
Honestly, it's amazing the ideas they have at first, right? Like the top right one is much different. Boy, that top one. The fourth one from the left, or third from the right. Looks maniacal there. Oh, hey, Clavier.
Well, we already existed, you know.
Yeah, so it's like, how do we change him? I know, what the heck? And then look, it looks like he's really old right above the blonde-haired one. It's like, I wonder if they were thinking they were just going to make the same paint older, but instead they... Yep. I mean, I guess since it's not the same guy, you know? Still crazy that she looks like Lemire in that outfit. See some different hairstyles there. Okay. Now there's some different stuff.
With that ended up putting the guy in between kills.
That's right. I think so. Ah, Florent Labelle. Yep. Spraying himself a little too.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Bottom right.
Bottom right, but not the most right.
The second to right.
He looks like Dracula.
He does. And then the one to the right of that is
Playing game.
the one on the left, like more second row. Actually, kind of looks like the Joker. Like that face. Let's see, Robin Newman. Yeah. Because they had a ponytail in the back, short hair. Miriam Scuttlebutt. Okay, what are the different things they had here? I don't know which thing I like the best here. Definitely some different looks here. Looks at the bottom right's more what she looks like in prison when she's looking up. Now this one's going to be interesting because he turns into a different person later. Oh, I don't see it. Oh, okay. Boy, this one's all over the place. Man, this guy we thought did it and then he didn't. Yeah. Emotional pixel art. Oh my god, Edgewood looks adorable. Back at the beginning. Well, I mean, that's why it's here. You kind of see, like, stuff like that you don't see before. I'm trying to figure out... Okay, that's something different. I'm trying to figure out what we unlocked. I guess we can change what they wear in there. So next time we play, it'll be Spirit of Justice. That's going to be interesting. All right, well, crazy last case. Let's see how long we played. Woo! Yeah, but we were interested. All right, good stuff. One last game to go. I heard really good things about Spirit of Justice, so we'll see what happens.
Are we going to be writing Japan and be like, hey, we need another case?
We're going to be in Japan. We're going to be like, hey, is Susato there? With a Susato takedown? Is Ryanosuke still here? Like, no, they've been dead for, a long ass time because it happened in like the 1900s or whenever.
Okay.
All right, Spirit of Justice is next.